Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we would like to say regarding the basic concept of object-oriented programming in Python. So in this video, we are going to see regarding the concept like what is a class, what is an object, so how the objects are created inside the class and all these things. First of all, to perform these things, first of all, we need to know what is a class. So whatever the class we have created, we can create a number of objects in the class. We can create a multiple objects. There is a no limitation for creating the objects. First of all, while creating any class, first of all we have to know for what purpose we are going to create a class. Why? Because based on our purpose we are going to write the names of the object and all these things and properties of the object and whatever the action that particular method should perform and all these things. So in upcoming, let us see regarding the sample programs and all these things. So actually this particular class, which is a keyword, we can say that class is a keyword. So if you want to represent the class, you can represent the particular class with the following syntax, like this is a class name. So you can say class Srinivas, like that. Whatever the class name you keep, you can keep the class name. There is no restriction for creating a class name. So this is a small example. So here we have written a class student. In the class student I have written this is the student with class required data. So print student.div help student. So this is a general program how we are going to represent a class. So class student, in the class student, what is the thing I have written? This is a student with the required data. I'm going to print, it is going to print that particular information. So coming to the type of a class, we are having a different type of variables which we can define. So first one is instance variable, second one is static variable, third one is local variable. So let us see each and every variable how that works. So let us see the example of a class. Here I have written a class name called class student. So in the class student I have written Srinivas. Next, in the third line I have written def, means define. Define init, initialize self. If I am initializing a top point called self, so whatever the values I am defining, I am going to define with a keyword called self dot name, self dot age, like that. So here I am taking a particular value self. So here self dot name is equal Vasu, self dot age is equal 40, self dot marks is equal 80. So if I want to print anything here, whatever name, age or marks, whatever the thing I want to print, I can define with a value called self, like self dot department, self dot age, self dot gender, all these things. I am assigning a value called self, or we can say I am initializing a keyword called self. So next, I am in eighth line. I am defining a keyword called defining talk of self. Why? Because whatever the information I am having, every information is stored in self. That is why I have written it self. Next, print hello I am. This is a default word. Hello I am. This will be printed defaultly. So next, self dot name. Why? Because I am having my complete information in self dot name. Okay. Next, print my age is self dot age. Next, print marks is self dot marks. So automatically by executing this program, I am going to get output print hello I am Srinivas. Sorry, hello I am Vasu. Hello I am Vasu. My age is 40. My marks are 80. This is the information I am going to get. So if you want to define gender, self dot gender is equal to male. So in a 12th line you can write print my gender is self dot gender. Like that you can print multiple items you want to print. So next, object. So in a class you can define an object. You can, there is a no restriction that how many objects you are going to define. You can define multiple objects you can want. Next, reference variable. Reference variable is a thing that variable should refer another variable, is a reference variable. By using a reference variable you can use multiple properties which are defined in methods. So let us see a program. So this is a program class student. So here I am define initializing self name roll number marks. self dot name is equal name, self dot roll number is equal roll number, self dot marks is equal marks. Define talk of self. So print hello, my name is self dot name, my marks roll number is self dot roll number, my marks is self dot on. So here I am taking a s1 is equal student of. So I have defined name, roll number, marks. So here I am declaring all these things also 10180. So what these all the things I have to print. So that is why where I have defined in the 8th line I have defined define of talk. So I am going to get you have to declare this one s1 dot talk of. So like in 14th line, so I am automatically I am going to get output hello, my name is Vasu, my roll number is 101, my marks are 80. So this is another way of defining. In a previous we saw one way of defining, this is another way of defining. So this is the output I am going to get here. So already I have told self variable is a variable which is going to point the current variable, or it is going to point itself, like how it works in a Java. So next, coming to the concept of constructor. Constructor is a special method in a Python, we can say. While defining a constructor you have to define underscore init underscore self. So whenever you are executing a concept of constructor, it is going to execute automatically whenever the object is created. So and whenever the object is created, it is going to declare an or we have to initialize a variables. So constructor, whenever you are executing, it is going to execute only once, and it is going to take only one argument while executing. So these are the general things that we have to define constructor. So this is a sample example here. Define initialize means this is the syntax of a constructor, as we have saw here the syntax. So define initialize self name roll number marks. Self dot name is equal name roll number marks. So this is the program of for defining a constructor class student. So define initialize self comma x comma y comma z, self dot name is equal to x. So wherever whatever the name you are defining, it is going to store in x. Whatever the roll number you are defining, it is stored in y. Whatever the marks you are defining, it is stored in z. Define display of self print student name. First of all, whatever the value you have given, it is stored student name, next student roll number, next marks. So here whatever the thing I want to declare, I have declared and I have closed. Next in the 12th line you can observe s1 is equal s1 dot student of Vasu 10180. So whatever the values I have defined here, self dot name is Vasu, self dot roll number is 101, self dot marks are 80. So I want to display s1 student information, so I have written s1 dot display. In the next line I want to display second student information, so I have written s2 is equal to student of Sunny 10200. So s2 dot display means whatever the thing you want to display, you are going to display. Like this you can display multiple student list. So this is an output that I am going to get. So the coming to the concept of method and a constructor, there are some differences, like we can need, like whatever the name of the method you are defining, you can define by any name, but while defining a constructor you have to follow a proper syntax called underscore init underscore. That is the difference. So method, while you are executing, we are going to have to call that method. So but constructor will be executed automatically. So method will be called any number of times, but constructor will be called only once. And inside the method we can write number of logics, but inside the constructor we have to declare and initialize the values. These are the general differences between the method and constructor. So coming to the types of variables, we are having different types of variables, like static variables, dynamic variables, and local variables. So let us see instant variables means these are the variables which are varied from one type of object to the another type of variable object. So let us see the program how the instant variable are defined. So here I have taken class employee. So here I am initializing the define initialize self. So here self dot envo employee number is equal to 100, self dot employee name is equal to Vasu, self dot employee salary is equal to 100. Next e dot employee, I am defining the employee. So print e dot dictionary. So whatever the values I am declaring here, I am going to print. So automatically I am going to print e dot dict. It means dictionary means everything I am going to get in the form of a dictionary, like key and value pair, key value pair format. So I am going to get an output called envo is equal 100, ename is equal to also, e salary is equal 10,000. So next one is inside how you are declaring an instant method. So here I have defined a class called test. Define initialization of self dot a is equal 10, self dot b is equal 20. Here define m1 of self. I am declaring a value called m1. Self dot c is equal 30. Automatically first if I have defined a and b, in the next defining the variable I have defined class c. So next t is equal test. So t is equal m1 of. So print d dot dictionary. So here I have defined initialize one time in line number 3 and define second time in line number 7. So I want to print all the things which I have defined line number 4, 5 and line number 8. So automatically I am going to get output called a is equal 10, b is equal 20, c is equal 30 in the form of dictionary. So this is a third method how you are going to define outside of an object. So here I have taken a class called text. Next we are defining initializing the values. Here while initializing I have taken a value, b value. Next I have taken another method. I have defined c value. So t is equal text. So here our class name is text. So I have defined a text. So I have t is equal to m1, t dot t is equal to 40. So whatever the variables I have defined, here I have defined a, b, c. Here I have defined d. So whatever the variables I have defined, I want to print all the variables. So I am going to print all the variables in the form of dictionaries because I have written print t dot dict. So automatically I am going to get a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, c is equal to 30 and d is equal to 40. So next, how to access whatever the methods you have defining. So how to access means in the same manner how we are defining, you are going to define whatever the elements you want to define. Next, define df display of self. So whatever the values you have written in self, I am going to get the value display function. So print self dot a. So I have defined self dot a. I have written self dot a, self dot b. So t is equal to text of. So my class name is test. So I have written test t dot display. Display is a function. So print t dot a, t dot b. So I automatically I am going to get 10, 20 and 10, 20. So automatically, for example, I am having one object. We can delete that particular object. So here you can see an example. Here in a class text, I am having a variable, b variable, c variable, and d variable. So if I want to delete self dot d, so automatically that particular variable will be deleted. So print t is equal test of print t dot dictionary means complete dictionary will be printed. So after deleting self dot d, you cannot get the d variable. You can only get information like a, b and c. So you can see the output here. In a first I got complete output a in a form of dictionaries a, b, c, d values. Next I am going to get only a, b, c values. Why? Because in the 8th line you can observe dl self dot d. So I have deleted. So that's why I can't able to get the d value. So if you want to delete c value also, you can write a value like dl self dot c. You can c value also will be deleted. So here the static variables are nothing but these are the fixed variables. So while you are defining these variables, you have to declare the class name and all these such variables are static variables. So here you can see class test x is equal to 10, define initialize of self and y is equal to 20. t1 is equal to test of t2 is equal to test. I have written a t1 and t2 are the functions. So print t1 dot print t1 t1 dot x t1 dot y. I am going to get output 10 comma 20. Mean print t2 t2 dot x t2 dot y. In the t2 also I am going to get t2 dot x is 10, t2 dot y is 20. So here again in a 10th line if you observe, I have changed test dot x is equal to 888. Means I am going to update value x value as 10 to 888, t1 dot y as 999. So print t1 dot x, t1 dot y. I'm going, x value is going to change. Why? Because 888 comma y value I am not changing, it is going to get 999. In a test function y1 also is not changing that, so you can observe here y1 value I am going to get as 20, so the total output will be 888 comma 20. So here you can observe t2 in a t1 place, you can observe, you can see x 888 and y is 999. So here in this particular position I got 888 and 999. In a t2 position, if you see 888 and y value will be 20, it is not going to change its value. In many ways and in many number of places you can declare a static variables. You can see here class test. In this I have written a value. Next I am defining initializing another value to the self function. I am defining b value. Here I am defining m1 value, I am defining c value, defining m2 value, I am defining d value. So like this I have defined multiple values. So after defining a multiple values, whatever the values you want to print, so you can print test dot dictionary means I am complete dictionary will be printed here. Complete dictionary will be printed here. Complete dictionary will be printed. T dot m1, whatever the m1 value having, that particular m1 value will be printed. Test dot m2, test dot m3, test dot f is equal 60. So based on that I am going to get all the outputs here in form of dictionaries. So whatever the static value you have defined, how to access that particular static value is each and every value we are going to define by the help of class name. By that particular class name you can access the variables. So in a class name, whatever you are defining, you can either you can define by itself also. So this is the sample example class test. Here a value I have defined 777. Next defining m1 of cls class. So class dot a is equal to 888. Next define m2. Next test dot a is equal to 999. So print test dot a. So let us see what are the outputs I am getting. Print test dot a. In the test a, what it is a value 777. I got 777. Print test dot m2. In a, here you can see, observe in m2 what is the value you are going to have. M2 888. Next test dot m2 I am going to get 888. Test dot a. Next test dot a is 999. So in the same way I am going to get output called 999. So the total output is 777, 888, 999. So here in the compared to previous program, here if you have performed any changes, so what happens if the if you change the value of a static variable by using either by a self or object reference variable, so for a static variable won't be not changed. So this is the example. I have written class test. I have written a value. I am defining m1 value self dot a t1 dot a. So whatever the variables you are defining, you can define print test dot a. Or in a test class we are having a value as 10. I have written 10. Next print t1 dot a. In a t1 function, what is the a value? I am having 888. So I am going to get a value called 888. So here I have defined class test. In this I have defined a is equal to 10. So t1 dot test means definitely I'm going to get. I'm going to take test class, but if you write del of t1 dot a, automatically the a value will be deleted. You cannot get any value. So this is a complete example how to define a particular class or particular variable. So here I am defining import sys class customer I have taken. So this is a program defining bank example. Bank name is called Srinu Bank. Define initialization self dot name balance. Self dot name is equal name. Self dot balance is equal balance. Define deposit of self comma amount. Here I have defined object self dot balance is equal self dot balance plus amount. Print balance after deposit. So define withdrawal. Here I have taken multiple number of objects like withdrawal, deposit, all these things. If amount is greater than balance, so if I want to deposit, if I want to take 5,000, but in my account I am having only 1000. So automatically I am going to get information dot insufficient fund like that. So this is the case. So after this showing this to our in our this monitor, automatically my task should complete terminate. So I'm going to write system dot exit, system dot balance is equal self balance minus amount. So if you are having 5000, you are want to withdraw 2000, automatically you have to update and you have to get 3000 as a balance. So the 3000 should be updated, no. So this is the case where updating will be processed. So print welcome to customer name. So input name customer name. So whatever the card you are inserting while your customer name and customer details are correct. So what is the thing it is asking you, what is the option you want to do? D deposit, NW withdraw, NE exit. So based on our information here, you have used a condition called if else condition. If option is equal deposit, amount is equal enter amount, C dot deposit. Else if you are not processing deposit option, if you are processing withdrawn option, so amount whatever the amount you want to withdraw, enter amount, C dot withdraw. Next option E, it is going to say thanks for banking. So if you are not entering without any option, you are going to get system else invalid option. If you are not withdrawing, if you are not depositing, if you are not checking any balance, and if you are not doing any of these following operations, automatically invalid option. So based on that, let us see what is an output you are going to get. This is the output I'm going to get for my program. Welcome to Seenu Bank. Enter your name Vasu. What is the operation you want to perform? Deposit, withdraw, or exit? If I have chosen deposit, how much amount? So after depositing, how much amount? Next again it is going to ask deposit, withdraw, exit. So based on that, it is going to run our program. Next, local variables. Local variables are the variables which are temporarily uh, represented for our user task. So once again you have defined local variable. After exiting, the variables will be automatically deleted. Here class test I have written. Here I am defining a m1 method and I have defined a value 1000, print a. Automatically I am going to get whatever the value I have defined in a. Here I have defined another method m2, b is equal to 2000, print b. Next t dot m1 means I am going to get 1000, t dot m2 means I am going to get 2000. Why? Because in method m1 I have written 1000, in method m2 I have written 2000. So generally in the types of method we are going to have instance method, class method, static method. So let us see all these three methods how it is going to define. Instance means this is a method we are going to use for methods for instant variable on the spot variables like. So see the example. Class student define initialization of self comma name comma marks, self dot name is equal to name, self dot marks is equal to mark. Define display means self print. Hi self dot name. Hi means whatever the name you are defining, you are going to hi your marks are your marks. Define grade. So based upon your marks, if the marks are greater than or equal to 60, you are going to get your this particular output. Else if here you are using else if function, if your marks are greater than or equal to 50, if your marks are greater than or equal to 35, if your marks are without anything, if your marks are less than that, you are going to get your fail. N is equal input of enter number of students for I in range of n. N name is equal input of enter name, marks is equal input of enter marks. So based on your name and marks, you are going to get out of the following outputs, you are going to get one output. So enter the number of students 2 means we are going to check 2 students information. Enter name Vasu, enter marks 90. So Vasu, your marks 90, you got first grade. Based upon here condition 90 means what is the condition you are going to get execute, this particular output you are going to get displayed. Next, setter and getter method. Setter method is used to set the values in our instant variables, and getter method is used to get the values for the instant variables. So this is a sample program. Here I have defined a class called student. Define set dot name is equal self comma name. Self dot name is equal name. Define get dot name of self, return self dot name. So whatever the name you are getting here, you are going to return to the name. Define set dot marks is equal self comma marks. Self dot marks is equal marks. Self get dot marks of self. So n is equal int. I am going to take integer values of input. Enter number of students. So you are going to get enter number of students for I in range of n. So So you here it is going to check students range. S is equal student, name is equal input of enter name, S is equal set dot name is equal name, marks is equal int, you are going to should enter the marks of integer data type. S is equal set dot marks of marks, print hi S dot get name. So whatever the names you are defining here, it is going to get this names here. Hi name, your marks are your marks print. So you can see name Vasu, marks 100. Hi Vasu, your marks are 100. You can see as per 22 and 23 lines, this is the output you are going to get. So class method, whatever the um, classes you are defining in that classes, what is the methods you are defining, what is the declaring, all these things you are defining in the class method. Here you can see class animal. Our name is class animal. Lex is equal 4. So defining walk of class comma name print. Here first one is class CLS. Next one is name. So in a first dictionary, what is the in a first flower basis, what is the animal dot walk I have written in the first flower basis, what is the thing I will write, I'm going to get the output. In the second flower basis, what is the thing I'm going to get, I'm going to get the output. In the first flower base, what it is name. In the next flower base, it is class dot legs. So animal dot walk of dog. Next animal dot walk of cat. So dog walk with 4 legs. This is the output I am going to get. Output. Next another one is cat. Cat walks with 4 legs. Like here already I have different legs is equal to 4. So from there it is going to take that particular value. And next value will be taken from the line number 6. Animal dot walk. So static method is a fixed method. So you can see your program here. I am taking define add of x comma y variables, define the sum is x plus y, define the product x plus y, average x plus y. So here whatever the values I am taking, it is going to perform addition, subtraction and average of the values. So I am taking a value called 10 comma 20 Durga math dot add, Durga math dot product, Durga math dot average. Of the values I am going to get the output. So here same I am taking employee class. I am initializing a self-employee number, employee name, employee salary. I am defining self-employee number E number, employee name E name, employee salary E salary. Define display of self, print employee number. So ENO, employee name E name, employee salary E sal. So class test I am defining define modify of employee salary is equal to. So I am performing modification operation. So EMP sal is equal to EMP sal plus 10,000. So whatever the existing salary I am having, I am adding extra 10,000 for the existing salary. EMP dot display. So E is equal to EMP of 100 comma Durga comma 10,000. So test dot modify E. So whatever the operation I have defined, I have to get modification should execute successfully. So that is why I have defined test dot modify. So after the writing this 15th line test dot modify operation, the general output you are going to get is 20,000. Why? Because here the salary is 10,000 in the 14th line if you observe. So I have to get employee salary plus 10,000 extra. So I have got here 20,000. So inner class is a class inside the class is a inner class. So how this inner class will be executed on all these things. So inner class is nothing but a class department, class HOD. In a department we are having a HOD. So in the HOD inner classes can be defined like a class student, staff, class students. These are the inner classes like class management and the class staff members, class students like the class car, class engine, class university, class department. So here you have different class outer, define initialization of self, print outer class object, class inner, print inner class object, define M1 inner class method. So like that you can define multiple number of inner classes in a program. So you can see here class human, define here I am defining self dot name is equal sunny, self dot head is equal self dot head. So based upon that here I have taken head, brain, all these things. So based on our required information, hello Sunny, talking, thinking. So here why I got that particular output is in the class head I am written talking, in the class brain I have written thinking. So I want to print those variables. That is why I have written h dot human, h dot display, h dot head dot talk. In a head I have written talking. I have written talk, defining a talk. So that is why I have written talk. Next I have written class brain. In that brain I have written think. So I have written h dot brain dot think. So the same next, garbage collection can be defined like it is an older programming language. It is responsible for whatever the things you are creating. It is responsible for creating and as well as destructing the things. So usually it is used to clear the whatever the content we are having or neglecting the things which we are having. In a Python we are having some always programs which are running in the background which are needed or unneeded. So these are the things are unnecessary for the user. It is going to waste the system require memory space. So to delete all these things, it is going to perform all these operations. So to enable the garbage collection, there are some operations. Why to enable means, but to if you enable this garbage collection operation, your system process will be increased and your time complexity will be reduced, all these things. So here GC is enabled means garbage collection is enabled or not. If the garbage collection is enabled, I am going to get the statement called true. If it is disabled, I am going to get false. So DC get disabled. So if you want to disable garbage collection, so you are going to perform this particular command gc.enable to enable. Example, this is the program how you want to enable the garbage collection and you want to disable the garbage collection. Import gc means nothing but garbage collection, print gc is enabled. So if it is gc dot disable, gc dot enable. So if you want to get here, it is asking print gc is enabled. If it is enabled, I am going to get true. If it is not enabled, I am going to get false. If here in this program it is enabled, so I got true. Print gc is enabled, false. Why? Because it is already enabled. Print gc is enabled, true, yes. Destructor is nothing but it is the method you are going to get del. So destructor is the method in the garbage collection used to clean up the memories activities which we have performed and all these things. So here I am going to perform import time is a class time. So define initialization sprint object initialization, define self operation t1 dot none. So based upon our executing program, I am going to get output object initialization. Next here in a print value, whatever I have written, I am going to do that. Next end of appreciation on all these things. So you can define a multiple number of objects in a class. So this is a program defining import system class text pass t1 dot text, t2 is equal to t1, t3 is equal. So here I am taking a class t1 is equal to test of, yeah, why? Because I have in the test is our class name I have written here. T2 is equal to t1, t2 which is equal to t1, t3 is equal to t1, t4 is equal to how many classes are defining in t1 means t1, t2, t3, t4, t2, t3, t4, t1 test, five total five classes are defining. So that is why print system dot get reference count of t1. How many classes are defining in, how many methods are, how many objects are depending on t1. So that is going, I'm going to get output as 5. So this is the basics regarding classes, objects and methods in Python.